Once upon a time, in a small, dusty town, there lived a man named Chuka. Chuka was just like every other man in the town. He woke up early each morning, tied a worn out wrapper around his waist, and walked barefoot to the construction site. There he worked as a bricklayer, lifting heavy blocks with arms as strong as a farmer's hoe. His palms were hard like tree bark, and his back carried the weight of his struggles. Life wasn't kind to Chuka. Each penny he earned felt like pulling water from a dry well, but Chuka didn't complain. He worked hard, knowing that the sweat on his forehead was his only wealth. Chuka had two close friends, Kunle and Emeka. Kunle was a carpenter, always hammering away at broken chairs, and Emeka sold roasted maize by the roadside. The three of them were as close as brothers. In the evenings, after a long day of work, they would gather under the big mango tree near the market square. Kunle would bring stories, Emeka would crack jokes, and Chuka would sit quietly, listening with a small smile. "One day, my people, we will all be rich," Kunle would say, waving his hands like a preacher. "We will eat meat every day, wear fine clothes, and drive big cars." "Amen, oh," Emeka would shout, his laughter loud enough to wake the birds in the trees. But Chuka never said much. His dreams were big, but his pockets were small. One fateful evening, Chuka did something he had never done before. He bought a lottery ticket with the little money he had left in his pocket. The ticket was small and colorful, with numbers printed in bold letters. Chuka didn't think much about it. To him, it was just a piece of paper. "What if you win, Chuka?" Kule asked, grinning. Chuka laughed, shaking his head. "Win? My friend, that's for people with luck, not someone like me." Kunle and Emeka laughed too, and the three of them continued talking about their dreams, never knowing that something unbelievable was about to happen. And so, Chuka kept the lottery ticket tucked away in his pocket, not knowing that fate, like a hidden drum, was about to start playing a song that would change his life forever. The following day, the sun rose like any other day, casting its warm glow over the small town. Chuka was at the construction site, stacking bricks and wiping sweat from his face, when a loud voice boomed from across the road. "Chuka! Chuka!" It was Kunle running towards him, waving a piece of paper in the air. Emeka followed close behind, shouting too. "Chuka, you've won! You've won the lottery!" Kunle screamed, his face beaming like the morning sun. Chuka froze, dropping the block in his hands. "What did you say?" he asked, his voice trembling. "You've won billions, Chuka! Billions!" Emeka shouted, throwing his arms around him. For a moment, Chuka stood still, his heart pounding like the drums during a festival. "Are you sure?" he whispered, almost afraid to believe it. Kunle handed him the paper. "Look at your numbers. They match, Chuka. You are a rich man." The news spread through the town faster than Harmattan wind. By evening, Chuka's small house was surrounded by people. Men, women, and even children gathered, singing songs of celebration. Drums were beaten, and some people danced barefoot on the dusty ground. "Chuka the billionaire," they chanted, "our own savior." Chuka couldn't believe it. The man who once struggled to buy bread now had more money than the whole town put together. The next day, Chuka's transformation began. He moved out of his small, leaky house and built a mansion with golden gates that sparkled in the sunlight. Expensive cars filled his compound, their engines purring like lions. Chuka wore designer clothes, the kind that made heads turn, and his shoes shone so brightly they could blind the eyes. The same hands that used to carry bricks now held wads of cash. Chuka became the center of attention, with people lining up just to catch a glimpse of him. He was no longer the quiet bricklayer. He was now Chuka the rich man. Not long after Chuka became the richest man in town, the sweet scent of money began to change him. The humble bricklayer, who once laughed under the mango tree with Kunle and Emeka, was now a different man entirely. Chuka no longer visited the mango tree. Instead, he sat in his big house, surrounded by people who praised him day and night. Chuka, the billionaire, they called him, the king of our town. But these new friends weren't like Kunle and Emeka. They didn't care about Chuka. They only cared about his money. Whenever Chuka threw his grand parties, they would cheer loudly, dancing and drinking until morning. But their smiles were as fake as their praises. One afternoon, Kunle and Emeka decided to visit Chuka. They knocked on his golden gate, and a security guard opened it, looking at them like they didn't belong. "We want to see Chuka," Kunle said, smiling. "Do you have an appointment?" the guard asked, frowning. "Appointment?" Emeka replied, shocked. "We are his friends. Just tell him Kunle and Emeka are here." The guard let them in after much argument, but when they got to Chuka, his reaction crushed them. "What do you want?" Chuka asked, leaning back on a luxurious chair, puffing on a cigar. Kunle cleared his throat. "Chuka, my brother, we need a little help to start a small business. Just something to help us move forward." Chuka laughed, loud and long. "Help? You people want me to give you my money? Go and work like I did. Or do you think money grows on trees?" Kunle and Emeka left quietly, their hearts heavy with hurt. The man they had once called their brother had turned into a stranger. Chuka's pride didn't stop there. His poor parents, who had raised him with love and sacrifice, were now left to struggle alone. His mother would walk barefoot to the market, selling vegetables to survive, while Chuka drove past in his shiny cars, pretending not to see her. Whenever Chuka passed poor people in town, he would roll down his car window and mock them. "Why are you still suffering? Can't you make something of your lives?" he would shout, laughing as his car sped off. The people in the town began to whisper, "Is this the same Chuka who once begged for food? He has forgotten where he came from." But Chuka didn't care. He kept throwing money in the air at parties, surrounding himself with fake friends who cheered him on. His pride was like a balloon, growing bigger and bigger, but everyone knew that one day it would burst. Chuka's life of reckless spending continued like a river flowing endlessly. He became the talk of the town, not just for his wealth, but for the way he threw it around like dry leaves in the harmattan wind. Every weekend, he was at the fanciest nightclubs, buying drinks for strangers and dancing until the stars disappeared. One night, in the middle of a loud, glittering party, Chuka's eyes caught someone who made his heart skip a beat. Her name was Ashabi. She was as beautiful as the first rain after a long dry season, with a smile that could melt the hardest heart. Ashabi moved with grace, her laughter ringing like bells in Chuka's ears. "Who is she?" Chuka whispered to one of his friends, unable to take his eyes off her. "That's Ashabi," the friend replied, grinning. "She's the hottest girl in town, but be careful, she's not easy to catch." Chuka, however, was determined. That night he approached her with confidence. "Hello, beautiful," he said, his voice smooth like palm oil. "I'm Chuka." Ashabi smiled, tilting her head. "I know who you are," she replied. "You're the billionaire everyone is talking about." From that moment, Chuka was smitten. He showered Ashabi with gifts, gold necklaces, designer bags, and even a brand new car. He promised her the world and more. "Marry me, Ashabi," Chuka said one evening, kneeling before her with a diamond ring that sparkled like the sun. I'll give you the biggest wedding this town has ever seen. Ashabi smiled sweetly, placing her hand on his cheek. Of course, my love, but if we are going to share a life together, shouldn't we also share everything? Let's transfer your properties and accounts to both our names so that we can build our future together. Chuka, blinded by love and trust, didn't hesitate. Anything for you, he said, signing every document Ashabi placed before him. To him, Ashabi was the perfect partner, the missing piece to his new, luxurious life. Little did Chuka know, Ashabi's heart wasn't filled with love. It was filled with plans. Plans that would soon turn Chuka's golden world into a pile of ashes. While Chuka dreamed of a grand wedding, Ashabi was plotting something far more dangerous. One day, as the big wedding day drew near, it was a bright morning, and the birds outside Chuka's mansion were chirping happily. Chuka stretched on his large, soft bed, smiling to himself. In just a few days, he would be married to Ashabi, the woman who had captured his heart. Life, he thought, could not get any better. But as he reached for his phone to call Ashabi, something strange happened. Her number wasn't going through. Chuka frowned, wondering where she might be. He decided to check her room, but when he opened the door, it was empty. The wardrobe was bare, her belongings gone. Panic crept into Chuka's chest. Ashabi, he called, running through the house. Ashabi, where are you? There was no answer. Chuka picked up his phone again, but before he could dial, a series of messages popped up. One by one, debit alerts from his bank arrived. His accounts were empty, billions and billions, gone in the blink of an eye. His heart pounded like a drum. What is happening? He whispered, his hands trembling. Before he could process it, loud knocks came from the golden gates. Men in suits stood outside, holding documents. We are here to take possession of this property, one of them said firmly. What property? Chuka asked, confused. This house and the cars, the man replied, holding up papers. Everything now belongs to us. Chuka snatched the documents, his eyes scanning the signatures at the bottom. His stomach dropped. His own name and Ashabi's name stared back at him. She had tricked him into signing away everything, and now she had disappeared like smoke in the wind. Wait, please let me explain, Chuka begged, but the men didn't care. They had bought the house legally. By evening, Chuka was standing outside the mansion, watching as strangers drove away in his cars. With nowhere else to turn, Chuka swallowed his pride and went to Kunle and Emeka. They were sitting under the old mango tree, just as they used to. Kunle, Emeka, I need your help, Chuka said, his voice low, his head bowed. Kunle looked up, his face hard. Help? Chuka, when we needed you, what did you say to us? Go and work like I did, Emeka added, mimicking Chuka's voice. Tears welled up in Chuka's eyes. Please, I'm sorry. I didn't know this would happen. Kunle shook his head. Life has a way of humbling people. Chuka, go and find your own way, just like you told us. Chuka left quietly, his heart heavy with shame, as he walked back to the small, run-down house he once called home. The townspeople whispered behind him. Look at him now, they said. The same Chuka who mocked us. Pride truly comes before a fall. That night, Chuka sat outside his old house, staring at the stars. The same hands that once held billions now held nothing but regret. The proud man had fallen, and there was no one to catch him. Chuka sat on a broken stool outside his old crumbling house, staring at the cracked walls that seemed to mock him. The mansion, the golden gates, the shiny cars, they were all gone. His hands, once soft from wealth, were rough again, like the hands of the bricklayer he used to be. As he walked through the town, carrying his tools, the people whispered behind him, "Is that not Chuka, the billionaire?" One woman said, shaking her head. "See how he has fallen. He thought money would last forever." Another man added, laughing. "Now, he's back to where he started." Chuka didn't respond. He kept his head low, focusing on his work. Each brick he lifted reminded him of the pride that had once weighed him down. Now his heart was lighter, humbled by the lessons life had taught him. The mango tree where Kunle and Emeka used to sit became his new place of reflection. He didn't join them, but he could hear their laughter from afar. The sound stung, but it also reminded him of the friendships he had thrown away. Slowly, Chuka began rebuilding his life, not with grand mansions or expensive cars, but with honesty and humility. He worked hard every day, stacking bricks under the hot sun. He no longer cared about showing off or mocking others. Instead, he greeted everyone with kindness, even those who once mocked him in return. The town watched as Chuka transformed. His fall became a story that mothers told their children at night, a reminder that wealth without wisdom is like rain without crops. It washes everything away. As Chuka worked quietly, he whispered to himself, "I had it all, I lost it because of my pride. But this time, I will build something that even the wind cannot blow away." And so, Chuka's story became a lesson for the town. It taught them that money is not the true measure of a person's worth, and pride is the quickest way to lose everything. Chuka never became rich again, but he found something even greater: peace. Now, our dear viewers, who's to be blamed? Is it Chuka for his reckless spending, or Ashabi the gold digger? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the tale. If so, please like the video, share it with your family and friends, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more enchanting tales like this one. Goodbye.